Soldiers of Shoot.
Attention! That's right, maggots. Your boy General Stames is back. I was captured behind enemy lines. I was MIA, but like good team members, my boys did not leave their men behind. They made a rescue mission last night, and here I stand.
You're welcome.
But let me tell you something, guys. I don't know that this is over. I may have to go back and finish this mission. You guys may have to rescue me again.
General Staves a long way away.
It's a long way away. General Staves here to my left, Hollywood Edwards.
What's up?
To my right, the daddy cool AC. And right across the table, the little weirdo looking at me with his little beady eyes. The bodacious playboy, Robert Ventura. Yes, the Electric City Saint, the Steamtown Stunner. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm good. Good.
Now, it's a Thursday night, and I know we should be talking about WWE, but we're not. We're here to talk AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we start, I want to clear the air on a couple of things.
Ooh.
Just two things. Number one, I am not 60 years old.
That was Saint. That was not me.
So when Edwards said I was 60 years old, that was a lie. Actually, he doubled my age. I'm 30. Number two, Mr. Ventura. I is my catchphrase. You leave it alone. Now let's get started with the show. Guys, my first question before we go through the card, I want to hear from each of you. How excited are you about Saturday night? I mean, I know you're caught up in all the stories of the WWE right now, and it's hard to let them go and look at new stories. But how excited are you that it's finally here, Double or Nothing, Saturday night, Steamtown Stunner, hit me with it. What do you think?
Dude, I've been really excited for this for a long time. I mean, we pretty much were talking about this since as far back as January, and it's probably the only real main thing I've been excited for, the last couple of months as far as wrestling goes. So, I mean, hell yeah, Saturday can't come any sooner.
AC, are you looking forward to Saturday night?
I mean, even though Brock Lesnar's back and there's this beautiful new green 24/7 title running around the country with R-Truth. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped up. Obviously, there isn't much going on elsewhere in the wrestling world. You got some little niche stuff, but you got to be. I guess if you're kind of over what's going on elsewhere, you got to be super pumped for this. I think it'll be a really good show. I think it's a good way for them to kick it off. But we're also a pretty long ways away from any kind of TV. But at least it's a start.
It is a start, and I'm expecting it to be a very good show. Now, Hollywood, do you think there's a chance that maybe AEW will hire the USA Network to book their shows?
Oh, you mean like the 24/7 title was a network idea, but not a WWE creative idea? Yeah, I heard that. No, I think Cody and the boys will do just fine booking their own shows. But to answer your original question, I sent a text to AC today, and I said, things have been so slow burned from AEW so far. This snuck up pretty quickly. And now that it's here 2 days out, I'm actually excited for it. I haven't been excited for a show in a while. So I'm ready to go, man.
Awesome. Let's get into it. Here we go. The buy-in. That's the pre-show. It's the buy-in. We got the big match between Kip Sabian. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Sammy Guevara. Let's talk about the match. Maybe pick a winner. We'll start with the indie darling, Daddy Cool AC. What do you know about these two guys, and who do you like in this match?
Well, I kind of know a little more about Sammy than I do about Kip. But I think you're going to get a what you would expect, that indie style, the fast pace. You'll get some high spots, kind of like a cruiserweight type deal, dare I say. I just hope they give him a good amount of time. Could get the crowd into it. And if I had to pick somebody, I would pick Sammy, but it could go either way.
Mr. Ventura, what do you think about this match? Are you excited about it? What are you looking to see here?
Yeah, I think this should be a very, fun little match to kick off the pre-show and give, it should definitely give us a little taste of what we can expect for the remainder of the show. And I think that's going to be the whole purpose of, this pre-show and then specifically this match is I think you're going to get a really high-paced, exhilarating match from these two, and that's what you should expect from these guys. Kip Sabian's definitely a good high flyer who's done a lot of work over in Britain, and Sammy Guevara, same thing with him, and he's incredible on the mic. I would imagine Guevara goes over here because they've already invested a whole lot of time into promoting him like on being the elite. I think it would make more sense for him to win here.
Hollywood, these two guys originally were scheduled to be in the Casino Battle Royal, but then they switched it up a little bit and gave them their own match. Is that good for these guys to have their own match rather than be in the Battle Royal? They're going to miss out on the, the possible title shot opportunity, but they can showcase themselves in a match. What do you think?
Yeah, and Guevara's being showcased, like the Electric City Saints said, and I think that's a great spot for them, and a one-on-one match kicks off the show. They have that responsibility to get the crowd hyped, and I think they will. Like AC said, it'll be the big indie-style match to set the tone for the rest of the show. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot, and I'm actually glad that they did pull Sammy out of it because I want to see him in one-on-one action for AEW. The first official AEW match, he will forever have the claim to it. So, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Pretty cool to see.
I didn't think of that. Good point.
As far as the Battle Royal goes, before we get into participants, let me hear from you guys. What do you think about the stipulation in the Battle Royal that the winner becomes one of the two contenders for the championship belt? Hollywood, I know you've never really been a huge fan of Battle Royals. This one, though, has a lot of meaning to it. So does that change things for you as far as that goes?
Yeah. I would say if you're going to have a Battle Royal, have a point to it. I love the All-In Battle Royal. So this one, especially with the gimmick with the cards and the card suits, they're changing it up, and they have a stipulation, number one contender. That's pretty much all you got to do to sell me on a Battle Royal. And if the 5 versus 5, and then the new 5 come out, and then the new 5 come out, and the new 5 come out, I think that's cool. I think that's a pretty nifty, creative idea that no one has ever done before. And it's for the number one contendership. So, yeah, if it looks like anything like the All-In, and you're going to get 5 guys at a time, that's pretty cool. I think it's going to be something cool to see.
So for the people who are listening that might not know exactly what you're talking about there, explain to them how that's going to work.
So, yeah, the suits, everybody, they are doing it on Being the Elite right now, the past few episodes. Wrestlers are drawing a card out of a deck. They will be suited. So 5 guys will start depending on the suit that they drew. I believe it's every 3 minutes the next suit comes out. And then the wild card guy, because there are 21 guys and 4 suits, 4 times 5 is 20. There's 21 in this Battle Royal. So whoever draws that last card comes out alone. And I'm assuming what we've seen in the past with Royal Rumbles and Battle Royals and entry type Battle Royals, that last person may be a surprise or a shock. And I fully expect that they're going to do something with that.
You got Sonny Kiss, Brandon Cutler, Ace Romero, Glacier, Brian Pillman Jr., Sunny Days, MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Havoc, the great Michael Nakazawa, Jungle Boy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, I hope I said that right.
Mark Quinn.
Luchasaurus, Sean Spears, and 4 mystery people. Who are you picking, Daddy Cool?
Well, I'm kind of with Hollywood there, where I think that you're going to get a big surprise. And I think you're going to get a big surprise winner. Mainly A, because it's going to be eventually for the title shot. And B, I think they'll probably lead into the pay-per-view with that. And I mean, what better way to have some kind of big name, some kind of big surprise win that and lead you into the pay-per-view? I got to see more type of thing. If I had to pick a guy that's not a wild card entry or whatever they're calling it, wild card. Ha. Anyway, I mean, I guess I'll go MJF. They've done a lot with him, being the elite with Cody's house and Brandy and the whole thing. He's a really young guy that they seem like they're going to push really hard. So if I had to pick a guy out of that group, I'll pick MJF. But it just as likely could be one of those surprise entrants.
I agree with you on that. Bobby, what about Michael Nakazawa, though? They're paying him all that money. I mean, don't you have to push him to the moon?
Yeah, I could see him getting the push, honestly. I don't know if he necessarily wins this match, but I think he might be a big component of what AEW is going to have to offer in the next, coming months.
So if Nakazawa would win the Battle Royal and Kenny Omega would beat Chris Jericho, Hollywood, we'd have a Nakazawa versus Omega match, and Omega's the one that brought Nakazawa in.
He sure did. That'd be crazy, huh? For some reason, I wouldn't pick Michael Nakazawa, but we'll see. You never know.
I think one thing, when we're trying to make predictions here, it's pretty, obvious, but I'll point it out, is we really don't know their style of booking and where they're going to go with a lot of stuff because they haven't done a show yet. I mean, you could kind of play off with what they did at All In, I guess, but other than that, there really is no blueprint for how they're doing things that we know of yet. So, I mean, this could be like anything could happen out of left field in almost any of these matches, really.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what AEW's thing is going to be. So it could be a whole lot of fun, honestly. So, SoCal, Uncensored. That's Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky taking on the Strong Hearts. Now, these are the 3 dudes out of China. Isn't that right, Bobby?
Yeah, they're basically the guys that are going to be representing Oriental Wrestling Entertainment.
So,
like you said, based out of China.
Is it Seema, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann? Do you know anything about any of these guys?
Yeah, I know about Shima. He's been, one of the top guys in Japan, Mexico for a lot of years. He's actually trained a couple guys in AEW. I forget exactly who, but he's had a surprisingly a big influence on a lot of people that you like more than you would think. The other 2, I have virtually no clue who they are. I think it's going to be kind of exciting to see what they have to offer because if you remember at the press conference, they were kind of like billing these guys as like kung fu or something. So I'm dying to see like what their style is going to be. Is it going to be like this big like martial arts kung fu style sequences? We aren't going to know, and I think that's the exciting part about a lot of these matches. A lot of these guys are people we haven't really seen that much or haven't seen at all, and it'll be very cool to see what they're all about.
AC, when they had that press conference, and even since then, listening to the guys talk about these guys from China, they do talk about them as if they're the Circus Olay of professional wrestling. So should we be looking for a lot of that, high spots and aerial stuff?
Honestly, I'm not as familiar with them, so I don't know. I don't know that is it high spots? Is it going to be something different than we're used to? Interesting that they put him with SoCal. That's pretty cool. Those guys could pretty much work with anybody. They've been doing a lot of work on the indies. They've been putting guys over on the indie scene left and right. I know they're kind of elder statesmen even in AEW now. I'm very intrigued by this match. I probably couldn't even pick a winner in it. just because I just don't know enough about the Chinese kabuki guys there. And
Kabuki.
Nice.
Oh, it's not kabuki? When Saint was talking, the only thing that popped in my head was kabuki.
The kabuki hearts instead of the strong hearts.
Kabuki warrior. Okay. No, but I'm again, it's like one of those things where I'm almost like, damn, I just want to see what they come up with here. You know what I mean? Where I really don't have a prediction, or more so, it's just something cool and different. Let's see what happens with this. I haven't even researched them to look it up. Because honestly, I'm like, I just kind of want to go into the whole AEW thing with a clear mind about the guys I haven't seen, just to see where they're going with all this.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great thought. I mean, why put the undue pressure on yourself to try and find out? Just wait for the card and see what happens. All right, Daddy Cool. We got the big 6-woman tag match. I really don't know any of these people. I'm going to guess that they're either Chinese or Japanese, looking at their names. Now, I could try to read all the names and embarrass myself. But I'm just wondering, with All In, didn't they start the show off with a women's match?
No. All In opened with MJF and Matt Cross.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I love Matt Cross.
Yeah, that match was really good.
Yeah, I love that guy. So, 2 women's matches here on Saturday night out of the 9, if you count the pre-show. So I think that's fair. I don't think it's going too far.
Fair
maybe like
how? How is that fair? How is 2 matches versus 7 matches fair? Is that equal to you, or are you in misogynistic land?
Wow.
Well, yes, I guess so. Yes.
Okay.
I think so. What do you think that there should be? 5 women's matches?
Well, and if you're talking fairness, I mean, wouldn't, I don't know, 5 and 4 be more fair than 7 and 2?
Well, some would probably say yes to that, but I know that women's wrestling doesn't sell the same as men's wrestling.
Well, I don't know. Women sold out Mania.
Oh, did it?
Main evented.
Yes, it did main event it. Did it sell it out? I'm not so sure about that. AC, jump in here, man.
I'm just letting you guys go on this. Yeah, again, this is another match where it's kind of wait and see. Don't know all the players in it. I don't think 2 women's matches is as bad. I mean, personally, I think anything more might have overdone it. The second one looks pretty good. I do know some of the players in that one. So I'm okay with 2. Again, it's this pay-per-view is kind of somewhat of a fact-finding mission for us too, where to see how they book women's wrestling, to see how they do this stuff. I actually don't mind seeing women's matches when I watch Impact. I don't know, sometimes they do maybe a few too many, but the Knockouts division is tremendous, so it's good. So I think if the matches are good, you'll be okay with it. If they're lackluster, you're going to be like, what are they doing here? I mean, just from the outside looking in, I guess that's the way I look at it for now. But it's something new and different. Maybe they come up with a curveball and we're like, holy shit, never thought of that, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes.
Right.
This second,
okay, Hollywood.
This second women's match, was this added after Paige and Pac were taken off, or was this always booked? Because I always thought I was thinking that there was only one.
Good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Stames, do you know?
According to what I'm reading, it reads as if this thing was booked May 13th. So I don't know. That's what, 10
days ago, yeah.
Yeah, so that would almost be before the Paige Pac cancellation, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
So
just curious about that.
Saint, all Asian women, we know from the last show you did that you love Asian women, so you must be excited about this match.
I really don't know like any of the chicks in this match except for Aja Kong. She, has been around since the early '90s. She was even in WWF. She fought Alundra Blaze, and they never had her actually win the women's title because they had that women's division like that didn't last all that long. But she's like literally the only person in this match I have any information or ever seen wrestle before. I mean, that's like I said, again, it shows how intriguing this pay-per-view is, because a lot of these people, I think it's the first time a lot of us are seeing a lot of people, and you don't know what they're going to offer, what to expect from them.
Very well said.
No, perfectly said. Can you give me the participants in this match with Aja Kong? See if Bobby maybe Bobby will recognize the other ones, because I don't know any of them.
Bobby, Y-U-K-A, Yuka or Yuka?
Yuka, you had it right the first time.
Yuka Sakazaki. Emi
Sucky.
Emi Sakura. They're all on one side. Then you got Hikaru Shida, Ryo Abe, and Roy R-Y-O Mizunami. M-I-Z it starts with, so I guess we just call her The Miz.
The Miz.
I think that's good enough right there. So, Bobby, do you know any of those names?
No, like I said, I've never seen any of these people wrestle before, actually. So, I mean, that's, it's cool that they're giving the women an additional showcase match here to kind of showcase the roster that they have. But like I said, I've said this from the very beginning. I still kind of wish they would sign more like larger named, women wrestlers, like maybe like Tennille Dashwood or somebody like that. And, outside of Britt Baker, I think their women's roster, I mean, I hate to say it, but I think their women's roster is a little weak.
Brandy Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Speaking of her, why is she not on this card at all? Did you guys find that kind of weird?
Well, I think on one of the shows, Cody did try to talk to her about that, but she wasn't having it for some reason. She did not book herself on the first card.
Yeah, take that, White.
I'll
leave that there.
All right, Hollywood. I'm gonna move on to a very intriguing match. The Best Friends.
Yes.
Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta taking on Angelico and Jack Evans. Now, a lot of people probably know about Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, but those of us who were big Lucha Underground fans also know a lot about Angelico and Jack Evans. Why don't you tell the peeps out there that maybe aren't familiar with Angelico and Jack Evans what they might expect?
Jack Evans is awesome. Angelico was the guy in season 1 that made me go, that's it, Lucha Underground is my show. If you remember, AC remembers the 1640 days. I pretty much converted to a Lucha Underground podcast there for a while. Mm-hmm. And the start of it pretty much was when Angelico did that dive off that rooftop there that was built up in the temple. I was in seventh heaven. I couldn't believe what I saw. That guy is amazing.
Did he like a tweet you put out or something about that?
He
Wasn't
did.
There something?
Yes, he did. I did get a like from Angelico back in the day. That's right.
Angelico put 1640 over. Is what you're saying.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Angelico, if you're out there listening, and I know you are, maybe it's time you put SOS over now. So it's just a shoot.
Well, what happened there was I lost him probably to another show, either Trivia or Ferrara. He probably heard Ferrara, and then I lost him. And who could blame him, really?
No one could.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm thinking there's free donuts if you go to that podcast. So.
Probably. There's free something. I don't know what. AIDS. I don't know.
Ooh. Now, Daddy Cool, you're really familiar with Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, too, right?
Of course.
So, who do you like in this match?
I've seen them wrestle live many times.
Have you met those guys, by chance?
I've met Trent Beretta, not Chucky T.
Is Trent a cool guy or is he a dick? Because I heard conflicting reports on him.
And the 2 times that I met him, he was really cool.
Cool. All right. Just wanted to get that out there.
He's not out there big timing people or anything like that, right?
Not that I've seen. He did a signing at one of the local sports memorabilia shops that also had a big wrestling room. He did a signing with who was it? Nash, Rhino, and Beretta were back there together. They did a signing, and then I seen him. Actually, I think I met him 3 times. I met him there.
Nice.
I met him at a CTWE show and an NEW show, and I saw him wrestle on many ROH shows. I like those guys. They're fun. They could go. I got a root for my boy Angelico though. I think the match could go either way. Again, not so much who's gonna win. I think I think who's ever watching's in store for a lot of fun in that one. Common theme.
Who's the faces and who's the heels in this match, Bobby Ventura?
I have no clue, and I think ultimately for this match, it doesn't really matter much. I think, it's just going to be, again, a great showcase of people that, maybe, some people might not be familiar with. Obviously, everybody on the channel here, we're aware of all 4 of the guys. I've seen all 4 of them wrestle before. Like Angelico and Jack Evans were big parts of, like you said, Lucha Underground and even PWG. And obviously the best friends have been in Ring of Honor for a long time. They've also competed in New Japan several times. I think ultimately it really doesn't matter. However, in more recent months, when they did have the best friends on New Japan, we kind of seen more of a heel side out of Chucky T. So it could really go either way with this.
Let me ask you, Hollywood. There's a lot of talking about tag team wrestling recently. Are you expecting to see a good tag team wrestling match here?
Define good tag team wrestling, because...
Well, let me put it this way. How about old school tag team wrestling?
I think you'll get it more from Chucky and Trent. I'm sure they're going to do the...
Cutting off the ring.
Yeah, I think it'll be more them, and the 2 smaller, quicker, flippity guys will be the, they'll work they'll work the Rock and Roll Express role in that match. I think, if you know what I'm getting at.
Right. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about this other women's match. You got Britt Baker. Bobby, am I right about this? She's a dentist.
Yeah, she owns her own dental practice.
Now, didn't the WWE have a dentist at one time, Bobby?
I think I know who you're talking about.
That was a shoot too, right?
Isaac, yeah.
That was a shoot. I read it in the magazine. Yankum? Back in the day in the magazine, it said he was a real dentist.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And then what? He turned into Undertaker's brother?
No, that's a different guy.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Come on, man. Kayfabe.
Oh, I thought it was the same guy. Britt Baker, Bobby, Nyla Rose, Kylie Ray. What's the game, Hollywood? It's what is it? F, marry, kill, right?
Yes.
Bobby, F, marry, kill. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Kylie Ray. Which one are you killing?
Probably not Nyla Rose.
No. Wait. No. Be honest, Bobby. This is a safe space here. You could be honest. Now go ahead and answer.
This is a safe space.
All right, you're killing Nyla Rose. Which one are you marrying and which one are you just effing?
Probably Kylie Ray. I would probably marry her. I mean, I think she has a very bubbly personality. Obviously, Britt Baker's already taken, bro, so I'm not getting involved in that.
Baby!
That's a good answer, actually.
How about that? So, but you're not going to marry her, but you're still going to bone her. Okay, got it. All right. So
she'll be saying Bobby.
So what are you expecting in this match, Stunna, and who do you like? Who do you think's going to win it?
Well, I think either way you look at this, Baker's probably the most recognizable name out of the three. I mean, she's been in Ring of Honor, she's been in NXT, and I think so far they've kind of pushed her as the big face of their AEW women's division. I see her winning possibly, or I think Kylie Ray might pull off an upset here. I think she probably, I look at her, she could be very marketable for that. I think, like I said, she's definitely like a total baby face. She has like that bubbly personality and everything that I think they could market that going forward,
Yes, and you said that now twice, so I think you're trying to market that going forward. Mm-hmm. Now, AC, Nyla Rose is a pretty big woman, and Bobby mentioned Britt Baker or Kylie Ray to win that, not Nyla Rose. Does Nyla Rose not stand a chance here?
Well, again, we don't know because we don't know how they're going to book these things, but my guess is you're going to get a big showing from Britt Baker. Well, I believe she was the first woman announced that they signed, if I'm not mistaken. They made a big deal about it at the press conference. I think that's someone they're really going to push, as Saint said. So it wouldn't shock me if she won, but I think you'll get something to build in the future. Maybe Rose attacks her after she wins or something. I think you'll get I think you're going to get a good match. You're making me pick somebody, so I'm going to pick Britt, but I don't really feel good about any of these picks because I just don't know how this whole scenario is going to play out.
Wasn't there a transgender fighter in MMA?
Well, there is a woman a man who fights as a woman, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, what's the name?
Fallon Fox.
Okay, Fallon Fox. So does Fallon Fox win a lot?
Yeah. Because she fights on she, whatever it is, fights on lower promotions, and has actually seriously injured some of these women as well. And
why do you think that is? Do you think that is because she's more powerful? Is that what you're saying?
She's identifying as a woman, but she's actually a man and is stronger than women.
Okay.
I mean, science. It's science. It's not my opinion at all. It's just science.
So, Hollywood, this is what I'm getting at here. Nyla Rose seems like she should have an advantage here, no?
I will lay money on the fact that Nyla Rose gets the big win.
Whoa, so Hollywood's going against Daddy Cool and against the Steamtown Stunner and picking Nyla Rose to take the match. And I got to tell you, I agree. I think Nyla Rose gets the win here. She's got a huge advantage. It seems to me like she should be stronger. I mean, dude, she's huge. She's a big woman. She's got the weight advantage. She should have a strength advantage. Now, if the match goes longer, you know how Heenan would always say, the longer this match goes, that's bad news for Nyla Rose. But
or what if Baker pins Ray and not Rose?
That could happen. If Nyla Rose,
you know what I'm saying? Yep. It's interesting that it's a three-way.
Yeah, triple threat matches have that thing. Something crazy could happen. Or how many times have we seen it in the WWE with Nia Jax? So
true.
She's also big. She seemed like she'd have an advantage over other women with the strength factor and her size, but somehow she doesn't seem to get it done. We'll see if Nyla Rose can, even though the Steamtown Stunner officially killed her in Marry Kill F. So
jerk.
It goes to show you that
it's better than hitting on her on Twitter like other people we know.
Wow. But maybe not the most politically correct thing to do for Bobby. So
true.
I digress. All right, let's get to dudes. I got to tell you, I am crazy looking forward to this match. You saw the promo done by Cody Rhodes. You heard the words of Dustin. I read an article today. I was talking to you about it, Hollywood, earlier today. Dustin says he's in the best shape he's been in since high school, and he called this match and this show the most important night of his career. That's how seriously he's taking this. How much are you looking forward to brother versus brother, Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Runnels?
I am all in on this, man. That is scary to hear the words of Dustin, because if he looks like he did when he started, best shape since high school, that means he's taking it seriously. His words are saying he's taking it seriously also. And if you put yourself in their shoes, this is a huge night for the Rhodes family, the Runnels legacy, if you will. They're not going to want to fail. They're going to want to hit a home run. He's not going to go out there and hit a double and go through the motions. I think everybody's talking about Jericho and Omega, obviously, stealing the show. This might steal the show. I think they're going to pull out all the stops, man. Seriously. This is going to be something that we're talking about for a long time, I think.
Yeah, AC, I am looking for an old school, great storytelling wrestling match, something with ring psychology and all of it. Would you agree that that's something that's a possibility here?
I mean, I think it's more than a possibility. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. You look at the two guys, the history of it writes itself. The legacy of the family, the story writes itself. If you know anything about their backgrounds, the story writes itself. Hollywood and I spoke about this on an earlier show. Could one be jealous of the other, or the other jealous of the other? You know what I'm saying? So I think there's some realism there. And given what we saw from Cody at All In for the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA title there with Magnus. What the hell's his name?
Nick
Aldis.
Thank you, Nick Aldis. I still think that was the best match on that show. I think just Cody's just so professional and so great in these spots. I don't know that the stuff that Cody did in New Japan was his best. I don't think he was putting great spots over there all the time, and had some mid-card stuff and never really stood out in his New Japan stuff. A lot of his Ring of Honor stuff was great. Again, the match at All In. I think this is huge for both these guys. I think they're obviously it's a huge day for Cody anyway, but the wrestler Cody, this is his spot. The promoter Cody has a million other things going on, but I think this is his way to get back to normalcy a little bit and just go out there and put one on for Dusty, put one on for, all the guys in their history. I think this is going to deliver, and I think it's going to deliver huge. Thank you for saying that match between Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis was the best on the card. I agree with you 100%. Hollywood, would you say that was the best match on that card?
Absolutely. Hands down. Easy.
Stunner, would you agree, or is there something else you liked better?
Yeah, that was the best match of the card, and honestly, I thought it should have main evented it, but I understand why they didn't have a main event, because he didn't want to, have him hog the spotlight. And that shows the professionalism of Cody, because a lot of people they would book themselves in that main event spot, and he decided not to do it.
So on that vein, Saint, you're saying, Cody didn't book himself in the main event spot. With this match against Dustin, is there any, in your mind, can you see Dustin winning this match, or does it have to be Cody Rhodes going over?
Dude, I think Cody winning has to happen. I mean, Dustin has wanted to end his career on his own terms, and I think a big performance here win or lose, I think, is important for him and is what's more important. I mean, these two, obviously they're brothers, but they've only really wrestled one time in the WWE, and that was, wasn't really Cody versus Dustin. It was Stardust versus Goldust. And if you remember, that match didn't really have that much build up, and the finish was lousy. So I think both guys are looking at this like this is their chance of redemption, essentially, to make up for that match and have the match that they wanted to have and put on a big show for all the fans. And dude, like Edward said, if Goldust really is in the best shape of his career, this could be something really, truly special. I mean, I could honestly see that being a strong possibility, because I bet you any money that he feels rejuvenated getting the hell out of WWE and being under that microscope and, being forced to do things that he doesn't want to do and losing all the time, whatever else have you. And like I said, I think this is a very good spot for both of these guys. And it's funny, ever since this has been announced, it only really took that one video package for them to announce Cody's opponent, and it got a lot of people in wrestling fans talking. So this is a very much must-see match, either way you look at it.
I'm confused because I thought for a second there you said Goldust versus Stardust, which is a WWE match, had not a lot of push on it, and it was a terrible ending, and that doesn't sound like WWE, does it? No build up and a terrible finish. It sounds like every WWE match, actually. So. Listen, guys, I got to tell you that, to me, I consider Dustin Runnels a wrestling legend in a way. I mean, I know he came into the WWE and he had that Goldust character. And a lot of people, because of the transition of Goldust and what he became at the end, it was kind of a joke of a character. But if you remember back to the beginning when Goldust first came in, Goldust was a winner, bro. And Dustin Runnels, before he came to the WWE, he was in other promotions, and he was a winner then too. So to me, this guy is a legend. And to get to wrestle his brother like this, I think we are going to, I agree with you, Hollywood. I think we're going to see something special. I almost want to say we're going to see something magical. I know that sounds weird, but I think that these two guys have the capability to captivate us and the entire audience with this match, and I am looking forward to this match more than any other match on this card.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, like you said, you used the word magical, and it's tough to say that in wrestling when we know what it is. But you're absolutely right, and people need to, that the fans that plan on buying this and watching this, supporting AEW. People really have to think. We don't know what's going to happen with this company. We don't know what the bookings are yet. We're just shooting things in the dark here because we don't know what the TV show is going to look like. But if you think about it, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, if this AEW thing works out, I mean, you're going to be talking about the first ever Starrcade. That's what we're watching on Saturday. And we could all be talking about, man, that first show they ever did, Dustin versus Cody, that was one of the best matches in AEW history. We could be saying that when we're 80 years old. Seriously, think about it.
And, think about the other match that's on the card, the Jericho Omega match. To be able to say that with that match on the card would be something to say. I mean, that's saying something if that match would actually outperform the Jericho Omega match, because I'm expecting big things from that match too. So, yeah, I'm all in with that match. Can't wait. All right, moving on to the AAA World Tag Team Championship of the World. AC, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. I know you met them.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on the Lucha Brothers. Penta L0M, or Pentagon Jr., as we know him, and Ray Phoenix. What are you looking for, bro? And who do you think will come away with the AAA World Tag Team Championship when it's all said and done? This match is being billed as the match to find out who was the greatest tag team in the world.
Well, I would say this. If you were to line up the 5 best tag teams in the world, you have 2 of them in this match, in my opinion. You could rate them any way you want to rate them, whatever, but I don't think a lot of people would argue that. Given that, when I think back to the Bucks, when I think back to Pentagon and Ray Phoenix, honestly, how many times do any of these guys ever have a bad match? I never remember seeing one of their matches and go, boy, that was a real clunker. So I don't see how the match is bad. The Lucha Brothers have been killing it everywhere they go. They closed out the Impact pay-per-view against LAX in a crazy match. They're crushing it on the indie scene, winning matches, putting guys over. They already wrestled into a huge TV audience for the AAA titles, which the Bucks obviously won. I think you're going to get a great match. I think you're going to get an exciting match. I think it's going to be huge for tag team wrestling. And if I have to pick somebody, because those AAA belts are on the line, I think the Lucha Brothers are going to win. But I don't think this is over by any stretch of the imagination.
Very interesting. Saint, will Joe White be upset with this match? Will there be too many super kicks? Will the Young Bucks not sell? Or are we going to see a great tag team match?
Well, I'm not even sure if he's ordering because he acts like the $50 is too much. But I mean, hey, this is the same guy who says WWE isn't going to get his money, but 2 seconds later he says he is subscribed to the WWE network because his kid watches it.
True story. I heard that today, actually.
He's probably watching it. He's probably going to watch it in his underwear in the back of his truck, illegally streaming it.
Give me your thought process on this match, Saint. What are you looking for? Who do you think's going to win?
I think this is probably the least predictable match of the night. It's going to be very intriguing who the hell wins this. And it's one of them matches where I think it's laughable that people say there's no build behind this. There's been months worth of build dating back as far as like All In, basically, if you want to look at it that way. I mean,
time out. Who is saying there was no build on this match?
You're stealing my thunder here, Bobby, because this is where I was going to go. It was my turn, but go ahead.
He's the trucker down there.
I took my catchphrase back. Did he really say that?
Yes, he did. He did. Now listen, Bobby, I don't want to mean to step on your toes here, but I gotta say this.
Ahead,
okay, I gotta say this, dude. I'm watching White today, and I did 3 videos. White, you're a fountain of misinformation to the people that listen to you. That's number 1.
Oh, how many times do we have to say that? You say that every time he opens his mouth. He's a fountain of misinformation.
Number 2, if you don't want to watch the build-up, that's fine, because he goes, there's been no build-up to this match, and then in the next breath, he literally goes, and I'm not watching Being the Elite on YouTube. Well, bro, if you want a build-up, that's where the build-up is, because they're not on TV yet. So today, ironically, AEW released, or the Bucks released the new Being the Elite, and there's a sliver of Being the Elite today that starts with a video package of Nick, I believe, saying, we first met them in 2016. And then they show you every run-in that they ever had with Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix up until now. The build is there, but you have to turn on YouTube and press play. If you're not willing to do that, don't be telling people that there's been no build-up. Because, again, you are a fountain of misinformation. Just because you don't like something, don't bury it and make shit up. White. Well, if you want to bury it, bury it. But at least watch it before you bury it. That's my message to White tonight. Continue.
Didn't he watch the second press conference from Vegas? Oh, who attacked who on that press conference? Let me think. Oh, didn't the Lucha Brothers come out and attack the Young Bucks
at
the press conference?
No build.
I mean, what is that? I mean, that just happened. It just had. That wasn't built. That wasn't a build. It just happened.
Yeah, no build.
They weren't telling you a story with that at all.
This guy, I'll tell you.
Joe White, I gotta ask you a question, bro.
Oh God!
Don't you have your own YouTube channel? Don't you expect or desire people to watch that channel? So you can't flip on Being the Elite and watch a 5-minute vid to see the build in this pay-per-view. Now, I know he's kind of, an AEW denier. We've heard him speak in the past here, the recent past, and it almost seems as if he wants AEW to fail. But come on, bro, you're a wrestling fan. There's a lot of great wrestlers in this organization. Give it a chance, man. Turn on Being the Elite. Hell, you can still do that tonight. Yeah, catch up on it all until.
Why would he watch Being the Elite? Because if he actually watched it, then he wouldn't be able to say all the nonsense that comes out of his mouth because he would have an actual understanding of what's going on. But me and him had this huge argument, obviously.
Which one?
Right around, the one about All In. The one about All In where he was like, well, there's really no build unless you're watching a stupid YouTube show. Yeah, asshole. That's what you got to watch. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine.
Right.
Listen, everybody, if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But then you can then not comment on a lot of these matches. Because I heard the same crap about the matches on All In. Oh, there's no story. There's no build. Well, it's out there if you actually watch it. Yes, we know they don't have a TV show right now, but they started building a lot of these stories for Double or Nothing right from the first stinking press conference. And listen, it sucks that the Pac Hangman thing didn't work out. I'm sure they're going to find something for Hangman to do. Hell, maybe Hangman's a fucking mystery guy in the Battle Royal. We don't know yet. There's a lot of unknowns, which to me is interesting. And here's the other thing. If you're a real wrestling fan in 2019, right, and you know who the Bucks are and who the Lucha Brothers are, do you really need that much of a build? Like you already, if you know them and you've watched them, like I said earlier, they never have bad matches. If that's your cup of tea, so why would they not deliver in this spot?
But they do. But here's the thing: they do have. It's a 3-year build. I mean, what do you want? I mean, WWE gives you a 3-minute build.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing people need to realize. And it's not only White, and it's not only a YouTube problem. It's a pro wrestling community problem.
Yep.
Everybody's comparing this to WWE already. Dudes, pump the brakes, man. Slow this shit down because we haven't seen it yet. They don't have a TV show. You cannot compare a build, period, to a build from a company that has 5 hours of TV per week. If you want to say they didn't build something on WWE, that's perfectly fine. You could do that in AEW if they're putting on matches in November and December and they didn't build it properly. But it's totally unfair to do that now, guys. I mean, come on. You got to slow down a little bit. Accept this for what it is. It's the first show of a brand new company.
Yeah, well, AEW sucks, and they'll be out of business before Old Lang Syne hits in 2020.
Well, you're the young fucks, and they have none but a cult following. I know they got their T-shirts in the Hot Topic by themselves, but they suck. Okay.
Let me see them get their T-shirts in a Cracker Barrel. He actually said that.
Oh, they had a fucking Cracker Barrel at All In. They actually had the barrel there, and it said Crackle Bear on it.
Their name was on the apron. Go ahead, Stace.
I'm going to go back to the Saint because we kind of ran all over him here, and he didn't get to talk about this match. So, Saint, tell me what you expect from this match. And you did say that you thought that it was hard to predict who would win this match, though, correct?
Yeah.
But this match will not fail us, will it?
No, I think it's going to be extremely good. I mean, it's going to once again give some glory to tag team wrestling that we don't see at all in WWE. Like AC said, these guys are perennial tag teams, like probably top 5. I would totally agree with that. And that you're getting 2 out of the top 5 in one total match, which is absolutely insane. I mean, either way you look at this, I don't even think it matters who wins, because I think it's more going to be about putting on an amazing match and showcasing what tag team wrestling can be and should be and will be going forward in AEW. Prediction wise, dude, I personally think Cody's going to go over Dustin, and I look at it like this. I think it would kind of send the wrong message if a bunch of their other executive vice presidents all win their matches. So I think the Lucha Brothers will actually win back the AAA tag team titles in this match. But I think the Bucks will do pretty awesome in this. I think like AC and all you guys said, they never, especially all 4 of these guys, fuck it, I'll say all 4 of them. I've never seen a bad match out of any of these 4 guys, whether it was singles matches or any kind of combination of the 4. Real quick too, let me address good old Joe White real quick. Buddy, I love you, bro. But seriously, I have been wanting to say this for a while. You got to bring back New Surge Live. Forget about this from pillar to post bullshit, bro.
I thought it was Truck Driver Chronicles.
Bro. Dude, it's not working. I mean, I think even Edwards and me agree. We kind of miss the old days of the New Surge Live when you were having the fake commercials and you're playing the video games and all that. I understand video games don't bring in money, bro, but I mean, come on. The last videos of you on your camera phone on your truck, I just can't go for it, bro. I'm sorry.
Saint bringing the pain.
Wow, St. Barry's Joe White. And his new channel. Unbelievable.
Can I just say real quick, too, that you're seeing build for this match outside of AEW. They actually attacked, the Lucha Brothers in a match and AAA and cost them the match. And, I know AAA is not really easy to access, in the United States. I don't even know if that's on any kind of channels or not, but, outside of the AEW spectrum, there is being built for this match. I mean, it's been, like these guys have said, several years in the making, and even as far back, 2016, 2017. But apparently that's not enough build for some people. They're happy with 3-minute vignettes and having the whole entire storyline be aborted not long afterwards.
Yeah. A WWE build on a Monday night. Okay, playa.
Playa.
Before we get into the main event, AC brought up a good point here with Adam Page, and I'm wondering, what do you guys think about that with the match with Pac? Because I'm reading a lot of people out there saying it's a work and the match is going to happen. Other people are saying that he'll just end up wrestling somebody else. Some other people think he'll be a participant in the Battle Royal. Let's go around the horn, and I'm going to start with you, AC, since you brought it up. What do you think is going to happen? Is the whole thing between him and Pac a work? Is Pac going to be there, or is something else going to happen here?
I just don't see the logic in saying the match is canceled if it's not, because I think in some circles that actually came off negatively for them. Look, big cancellation already. They're canceling matches already, and I think they're all smart enough to know that there's going to be people that are going to say that, and I don't think it benefited the story they were telling at all. Between Page and Pac. I could be 1,000% wrong about that. That's just my opinion. I think you're going to get something big for Page, though. I think whether it's that Battle Royal or something happens in that Battle Royal to set him up for a match later in the night, or he comes out and calls somebody out of the stands to fight, and it ends up being a surprise superstar, I think he's going to get a big spot in the show.
Saint?
I'm not sure what to think with this because, I even said this to Edwards before we went on air. I kind of thought like this would, possibly be a work, but I agree with AC that I think it would be a very unwise move and it'd be very strange, like, for them to market this by, taking the match away and then having it somehow still happen. I mean, I would like the match to still happen, but I'm starting to think that they're going to move on from that, which it's unfortunate because I think that was a match a lot of people were looking forward to. I mean, I know we bashed White here a lot, but he said that was the match he was looking forward to the most and said he was a big fan of Hangman Page. And now it's looking like we might not be seeing that match. Now, what I would like them to do to somehow still, have it possibly happen, I would even have Hangman come out and cut a promo and have it come across like a shoot, like he's pissed off and like, challenge and call out Pac for being like a little bitch or something like that. And that enrages Pac and then they still have the match. I mean, I could see that being something that might be a possibility. It's a very small one, but I don't think they're going to do it now, unfortunately. I mean, maybe later on we still get this match, but in a singles, AEW format match, we might not be seeing this for quite a bit of time, apparently.
I hope we get a penis party just for White.
Now, Hollywood, you've been very hot lately in making predictions. I mean, you've been on a hot streak the last couple of months. So why don't you look into your crystal balls and tell us what's going to happen in this match?
My crystal balls. Yeah. I got them out here. My big balls. My big fat balls.
They got rubbed by a Prince pal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn you, Sami Zayn. I don't care if it's racist. I'm taking that money. A couple things with Paige and Pac.
Damn it, I didn't even know Syria was a country.
What's cereal? A couple things with Paige and Pac. I thought it was a work at first for a different reason. Like they wouldn't have any benefit to, like AC said, to cancel it, to pretend cancel it, and then have it anyway. But I did hear, and I can't remember who said what, but something about visa issues.
Meltzer. It's probably Meltzer.
It might have been Meltzer. I can't remember.
You read a lot of Meltzer.
I love Meltzer. But today's being the Elite, Hangman was sitting on a couch with the vegetables on his knee, and he was pissed. He's off the show. He said, I'm not cleared to wrestle. Now, if that could be part of a work where he's going to come out like Bobby said and maybe cut a major promo, and then who knows, maybe John Moxley interrupts him, a surprise. Maybe they have an impromptu match or a scuffle or something, but I don't understand, like, from the perspective of Pac, if that's a legitimate shoot, he's more concerned with Dragon Gate. If that's his thing, fine. But I don't think he's a stupid man. I would think he would want to be a part of this. So I'm curious to know what the real reason is, because I don't think that creative issue that everybody are talking about, I can't imagine that would be a real thing.
Do we know his contractual status with AEW? Was this like a one-time? Because maybe that's it. It's a one-time thing. I'm not gonna lose and be embarrassed, and then not be on your TV show in October. You know what I'm saying?
It could be.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. To me, it's very strange that they would actually cancel the match. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other ways they could have handled it if, like you said, it was a visa thing and they weren't sure. They could put some rumblings out there. Would Pac show? Would he not?
Right.
And it kind of played it off if he didn't. But to just boldly cancel it like that. I mean, listen, there's a lot of great matches on the card. There's still going to be surprises and all kinds of stuff we love to see. To me, it just came off like, like
totally, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it, but you knew they were going to make it like, oh, see, that never happened to Vinnie Mac. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They're looking to compare And some people are looking to disparage AEW for things like that. And to me, they just added fuel to the fire by doing it.
I agree.
Unless they had to.
I agree. But
a lot of good stuff there by you guys.
I'll say this, though, too. I'm not pissed at Pac. So you YouTubers out there that are saying, oh, look at the AEW fans. Now they're all pissed at the almighty Pac. I'm not pissed at him, bro.
Is he that almighty? Like, I mean, he's
Dragon
champion. I don't care.
None of us on this channel worshipped Pac for a minute, so whatever.
I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a big spot. I thought it was cool.
Right.
We haven't seen him in a while. Great. But I mean, let's be out. There's a lot of guys out there that can do what he do. He's nothing like he's. I don't want to say this and be like, oh, he's nothing special. But I mean, there's a lot of guys on that roster that could do the things that he does. It's not like he was bringing a dynamic that they don't have to the table either. And they could get listen, there's guys becoming available every day now because nobody seems to be happy elsewhere. So, I mean, there's so many ways they could go with this. Maybe it's just they got to the point like we're not going to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Hangman's like one of our guys. He's an elite member. Like, you know what? Our biggest pay-per-view, this guy, took the spot from Joey Ryan on All In, the whole thing. We're going to give Pac a big spot or give Hangman a big spot, and you are that big spot. We're putting you over by making this match huge. Sometimes, some of these guys are a little short-sighted as well, as the promotions are short-sighted. I think some of the guys themselves could be short-sighted. You see it on the indies with different guys. The guys who will put people over, like the SCUs of the world, like Pentagon Jr. just put over JT Dunn on his way to winning the NEW title. If Pentagon Jr.'s Alberto Del Rio, El Patron there, he doesn't put him over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Some guys get it, some guys don't. Maybe Pac just doesn't get it. Or maybe he has another reason that we don't know, and he was worried about his contractual status or whatever. We don't know. We don't have all those answers.
I'm a huge Pac fan. I thought when he did Ric Flair back in the day, it was amazing. That was a great job by him.
Oh,
remember he had the wig on and all that. Yes. That was great.
Remember when he did Mark Henry?
Oh, it's great too.
That was so funny.
Pac is still wrestling at a higher, he's high quality, bro. A lot of years he's been in there.
He's been in there a while, yeah.
He did the pre-show at WrestleMania with Austin Aries.
You remember that match he did with Bret Hart back in the day?
Oh, that was a very good match. That was one of the better Raw matches of all time, maybe.
Yep.
Probably top 10.
Pac.
Now, before we get to the main event, Hollywood, you brought something up.
What did I bring up?
You brought up Jon Moxley.
Oh, I did.
So let's go around the horn. I'm going to throw out a couple of names. Jon Moxley, Jack Swagger. I guess it's Jack Hager now, right?
Jake Hager.
Jake Hager. Yep. Ryback, Wade Barrett, CM Punk, AC's own Alberto El Patron. Do you expect to see any of these guys here, or is there someone else there that I didn't mention that you're expecting to see on the card? I'll start with you, Hollywood, since you brought up Moxley. You're hearing a lot on the interwebbings that AEW is very interested in Jon Moxley. Do you think that they could pull it off this fast?
I think they can pull it off this fast. That right now, let's face it, this weekend they're the biggest game in town, right? Mox can go wherever he wants. He can also take a one-night appearance just to get some pop on the card, a little gaga on the card that people are wanting. I expect to see one of those guys that you mentioned. I think. See, I don't know. I'm gonna put Hager to the side, and I'm gonna leave that for AC with the contractual obligations and all. But I could expect to see him. I would expect to see him. I think Moxley will be there. I do. I think, people are saying, he could, he might not. I think it's a high probability that he will come out there and that place is going to blow the roof off, and where they go from there, it doesn't even matter.
Will it blow the roof off, Saint, or would it blow the roof off even more if your boy came down the aisle and we heard the Cult of Personality song queued up and CM Punk is in the house?
I think Moxley would be huge, dude, but Punk, I just don't see it happening, dude. There's just no way. I mean, everybody would love to see that as much as we would like to say, but it's like I just don't ever see him getting involved with wrestling this soon. I mean, I realize that, you know, he's been out of WWE all these years now, but at the same time, I feel like in his mind, he already is satisfied being outside of it and probably doesn't feel like he has anything left to prove. So I just don't see Punk being a possibility. I do see Jake Hager being a possibility, though, because, you know, he has, in his most recent fight for Bellator, he did, you know, say that he had some elite guests there with him and said that they were young bucks and all this stuff, you know, kind of teasing, you know, that, you know, Nick and Matt were there with them. So I could see him, probably be in AEW at some point here, probably as early as this pay-per-view. I think even, you know, to kind of go with something Edwards said, I'd like to see maybe Adam Page go on the mic and, you know, say he wants to have a match still, and maybe have Jake Hager come out and you have that big, you know, that big hoss fight between the two guys that are, you know, both Southern wrestlers with amateur backgrounds. It could be a very intriguing matchup between them two. One thing I will say, though, is I don't think they want to pull the trigger on a lot of these big surprises too soon. They might have one or two big ones for Double or Nothing, but I think they're going to save a lot of their ammunition for when the TV starts up.
Good point, Saint. Very good point. AC, now I know you'd be dying to see CM Punk in the ring again.
Yeah, whatever. I think he should just stick to getting his ass kicked and writing comic books, but that's just me. No, honestly, this is the honest to God's truth. I am not a CM Punk fan. We all know that. We don't need to go down this road. But obviously, I want AEW to be successful. I want them to get great ratings. I want them to put on a great show. And somebody like Punk is going to give them ratings and pay-per-view buys and all that kind of stuff. I stole my thunder a little bit. I happen to agree with him. I don't think you shoot all your bullets on this show just because you have all these great matches that we've talked about already. We still have one to get to. You have stars on there. I think you will see Hager, and I think there's a possibility you get a tease for a Moxley. I don't think you're going to get a Punk yet. I think it's a possibility down the road. My thing with Hager is, and I know Edwards kind of kicked it to me, it's interesting, and I think he would do it, and I think Bellator 100% would allow him to. When Lashley fought at Bellator, he was allowed to do pro wrestling. He was with Impact. So there's a precedent for it with them. Scott Coker, who's the boss over there, he's very smart. He wants to do things that are going to bring eyeballs to their show on Paramount and to their DAZN and sell DAZN subscriptions for people to watch Bellator. That's money in their pocket. Also, Hager did a food truck diary with Brendan Schaub. It's this show that Schaub does for Showtime. He does like a 20-minute interview, picks a food truck, brings the guy along. Long story short, Hager on that interview said that he wasn't opposed to re-signing with the WWE under a few circumstances. And what he pitched to McMahon was him leaving be a work. He goes, has his matches in Bellator, then comes back to WWE as some kind of MMA badass, and we can go from there. But he would still be under contract with the WWE. He said McMahon wouldn't have any of it. Now, does this relationship make a lot of sense for AEW and for Bellator? I think it does, and I think you're going to see it happen. And I agree. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Moxley but I'm also not going to be disappointed if we don't. You have another show, the one in Jacksonville. Plus, they're going to do some huge things when that TV show kicks off October 1st on that Tuesday night. You know what I mean? They're going to want something huge for that. Maybe a debut's in store for that day. I'm not going to be disappointed if we don't see Moxley. Obviously, it'll be great if we do. But I do think you'll get some surprises, Hager being one of them, and then another probably bigger one.
Could I say real quick about Hager before we move on? I think, if he does sign with AEW, it would be a good move for both Bellator and AEW because during, after his fight with TJ Jones recently at Bellator 221, that dude actually cut the best promo of his whole entire life. I thought he came off as, and it was unscripted, obviously, because it was a post-fight interview. But dude, it's like he really, I think there's a big potential there for him to be a big heel, for AEW and, to get eyes on Bellator by being kind of that, heelish person. I mean, we don't see a whole lot of personality sometimes with some MMA fighters, more sometimes with other like Conor McGregor. But I mean, dude, this guy, like there even was heat on him because I guess the fans kind of thought that he held on to the submission too long after the fight, so they were booing the guy. So I mean, dude, they could really market this guy going forward to be like this, heelish scumbag, I guess, and it would help both companies.
Plus, the other thing too is if you listen to these interviews, sometimes when they're with the WWE, you see them one way, but then now he's out and he's doing interviews, and you're listening to this guy and you're like, wow, this guy's pretty smart. He's pretty intelligent. Then he's cutting promos after MMA matches, and it's like, is this another situation where they missed the boat by micromanaging somebody in the WWE? And could AEW benefit from that? I'm sure him and Cody have a relationship, outside of, I mean, my guess is if there's any talk of him going there, him and Cody probably have a pretty good relationship. So, well, and you got the JR connection because JR is the one who brought him into freaking WWE right there.
Yep.
So there's the Oklahoma connection there, right? So it makes sense in a lot of ways.
I'll say this, and Hollywood, maybe you would agree. I always have felt, and still do, that Jack Swagger's championship run on SmackDown, when he was the SmackDown champ, I thought there was a lot of good stuff coming out of that championship run. I thought the guy did as good as he could do with what he was given. I thought he was very entertaining. I thought he did a great job. I think he was very underrated in that respect.
Yeah. We used to talk about him all the time, laugh about the shit he was saying on the mic. He was pretty good.
And now the experience working the indie matches too, so he has that wrestling side of it. I saw him. I think I saw him do like 7-8 shows for NEW in the last 2 years as well. So he has the style. He's wrestled the style now as well.
That's a good point. Yeah, and if he does come back to wrestling now that he has the MMA, it's going to be a slightly different character, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, could be interesting.
So what do you guys think then? If we have 4 TBAs in the Battle Royal, if we assume that they're not going to be the guys that I mentioned, the Moxleys, the Hagers, Punk, Barrett, whatever, Ryback, what will those positions be filled with? Are we looking at maybe legends from the past? Is that what we should look for, Hollywood?
I think so. I think maybe a Bully Ray again, maybe Tommy Dreamer, one of those older guys. You gave us that Wade Barrett Ryback. I'm not sure, I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that's really out there that would make a nice impact other than a legend type guy.
Okay, anybody else have anything on the AEW surprise? Let's move on to the main event of the evening. The winner of this match will wrestle for the AEW World Championship against the winner of the Casino Battle Royale. It will be Chris Jericho taking on Kenny Omega. These two have wrestled before over in Japan. I believe Omega got the victory. Am I right on that, Hollywood?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now the rematch. Jericho Omega for a shot at the AEW World Championship. I'm going to start it off with UAC. How big is this match? How important is it going to be for AEW? And what are you expecting to see?
Obviously, I'm expecting it to be a home run. I think you're going to get as good or better a match than they gave you at Wrestle Kingdom. I think that Jericho is obviously playing the heel. Omega is the babyface in this scenario. But I also think when Jericho took on this responsibility of going to AEW, and obviously Omega being, the consensus best wrestler on the planet type thing, I think these guys feel a major responsibility to really send people home with holy shit. And I think you're going to get one of those holy shit matches.
Hollywood. Kenny Omega has had huge matches in Japan. And as far as I could tell, he's always delivered. Do you see any reason not to believe that he'd deliver here? And I'm going to ask you this. Is Chris Jericho going to be able to keep up to Kenny Omega?
Oh, yeah, he'll keep up. And does he have a reason to not deliver? No, I would argue that because he has a stake in this company now, as far as having an office position, this is the four of them with money behind them. This may be the best Kenny Omega match we've ever seen. Think about that.
Wow.
Think about that, really, because, and same thing with Jericho, man. This may be jaw-droppingly ridiculous. Again, going back to the Dustin and Cody, this is going to have a similar feel to it, I think, when it's all said and done, as far as, assuming that AEW will be around for years and years. This is going to have a historical significance when it's all said and done.
Saint, I heard an interview with Chris Jericho. Well, it was actually him talking about the tail end of his WWE run and how he felt somewhat disrespected by Vince McMahon on several occasions. So is this Chris Jericho's chance to stick it up Vince's ass?
Yeah, I think it definitely is, bro. I think he definitely has a lot to prove here, and I think he's going to go out all guns blazing, and I think he's going to have one of the best performances of his life, like Edward said. I mean, realistically, I'm looking at this matchup, and I think it could be truly special. They already had a very amazing match, one for the ages, in my personal opinion, back at Wrestle Kingdom 12, when it was for the United States Heavyweight Championship. That was about 2 years ago, and that was a match at the time that people never thought they would see. And it really was something special, and I think this one could actually top it. I mean, especially when you look at it that they're booking this essentially as a title eliminator, sort of like what UFC would do, because basically the winner of this match, essentially will take on the winner of that battle royal, and then that's going to be who is declared the champion at that point. So there's a lot at stake in this match, both, in that aspect of things, but also, behind the scenes, I think, because I think both these guys are going to want to go out there and really put on a performance of a lifetime and really blow everybody away. And like Edward said, send the fans home with something truly historical and special and something they'll remember for quite a while. I could easily see it happening.
So let's do this. Saint, I think Chris Jericho is going to win this match. What say you?
Dude, I'm not sure because I think it will kind of depend on who wins the Battle Royal. I'm not going to turn this into a big convoluted thing, but I think Omega goes over.
AC, who do you like? Hollywood, who do you like?
Sorry, man, I couldn't unmute my mic, son of a bitch. I got it though.
Go ahead, AC.
There was a show that I believe, Saint and Hollywood did recently, where Hollywood was talking about the sports-centric type AEW show, and he said something very important. Wins are going to matter on AEW. And if you're the biggest name in AEW, which Omega is right now, even though it's the great Chris Jericho, Omega's going to win. I'd be shocked if he didn't.
Wow, so I am outnumbered here 2-1 already. Hollywood, you're my last chance, my last hope to have agreement. Are you also going with Kenny Omega?
No, sir. I am with you. I'm going with Chris Jericho. I think twofold. There's two reasons I like this. I would put the belt on Jericho, despite who wins the Battle Royal. Simply because he, since this thing started in character, is basically taking it upon himself. He is the sole reason that all of this is happening. So I love that. They need to build that up, build him into the monster heel that he is. Also, going to what AC said about wins and losses mattering, if Kenny is going to be the baby face of the company, the main eventer, I would love to see nothing more than for him to lose this match to Jericho, and then once the TV starts, put him down. Build him up to Jericho and take your time with it. Maybe even give him another TV loss on the first, and then suddenly he's 0-2. You know, again, we don't know exactly what they're going to do with that. Maybe they just meant in general booking terms. Maybe, you know, everybody's expecting like a ranking system and a sports event. We don't know for sure. But if that's the case, kick him down and build up your baby face like the old days. Have him chase the heel. I would love to see it.
So you're suggesting the baby face chase the title. That's crazy.
Yeah, like other companies do all the time. You know, back in history, you know, Ric Flair, all that. You know.
It does seem like if you have the babyface chase and come up short and chase and come up short and chase and come up short, and then finally they go over, it could throw the crowd into pandemonium. Yes. Let's just say it that way. So
we also don't know who is going to be the other guy in the mix.
It's true.
I mean, I like what you're saying. It's cool. I'm with it either way. I still think Omega's going to win. But again, we don't know all the stuff that the way they're going to book these programs and these matches, and, you know, who's going to have bigger roles than others and everything else. But that third guy, the guy who's going to be in the title match, that could dictate it too. If it's like a monster heel, you can still get your Omega losing and then building up to winning it type deal. Or are they going to say Kenny Omega's our first ever champion and go after him? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Anything else from you gents? I'll say this. It doesn't really matter. Like, what they need to not do is have their ear to the fans, especially the haters, and try and, you know, make them happy with what they do. I'm sure no matter what they do, if any of these four guys win, they're going to say things like, oh, yeah, sure, they're executive vice presidents, so they're putting themselves over. And even if they have themselves lose and let Jericho go over, you're going to have the morons that will say, oh, look, the WWE guy is the world champion.
Yeah.
He's the best one in the organization. So they're not going to be able to win with those idiots. So to me, they need to just not even listen to their noise.
I think they're smart enough to know that too. I mean, I would think they're smart enough to know that.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would hope so. It's a good point though, because that will happen.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be the whites of the world, and he's not the only one. There's be many of them that are going to watch that show with the sole purpose of picking it apart. They're not going to watch it to enjoy it. They're not going to watch it to say, oh my God, maybe we do have a number 2, a 1A type company here. They're going to watch it with the sole purpose to be like, oh, if Vince did that, you guys would go crazy. And if this happened, they're just going to be there to be assholes, basically.
It's funny, AC, and we talked about this before, is that when Jeff and I kind of broke from wrestling there for a while and did the Rise of Liberty thing, it was amazing how we saw, those people that are in their little clique, say it's on the left or whatever, and they would do that shit. They would look at something and just look for something to pick apart, something that just didn't go along with their agenda and their side. And when we came back to wrestling, we realized it's not really any different.
No.
They do it here too. There is that certain sect of fans who, if they think that WWE is the greatest thing in the world, they will buy this pay-per-view. They will pay $50 to, like you said, pick it apart and try to find every negative they can so they can kill it. Listen, if you're out there and that's what you're going to do, don't spend the money. Why are you... Listen, if you're a wrestling fan, I know we said it earlier in the show, if you're a wrestling fan, get the pay-per-view so you can enjoy a good wrestling pay-per-view. You don't have to hate AEW because you like WWE. You can actually like them both.
Sure.
Or you can hate them both.
Or if it sucks, you could say it. Listen, I'll say this for the 4 of us. And this is 100% true, because I could even go back to, as Edwards brought up earlier, when we first started doing Cool Truth, and his Blading for Truth show was basically a lot of Lucha Underground. I remember us doing Lucha Underground shows together, Firehawk and Edwards did Lucha Underground shows together, and then there was that one. And I want to say it was the first Ultima Lucha season 2, because I think it was a 3-parter in season 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And we hated part 1. And we went on the air and we're like, I can't believe we're gonna do this, but that was the first bad Lucha Underground show we've seen. And we said it. So I will promise you all out there listening this. If there's stuff on this show that we don't like, we will tell you. I think we're all going into this with an open mind. I think we're all excited about it, but I don't think we're going into it with blinders on and going to tell you everything's great. We've talked smack about ROH before, New Japan, Impact, a lot of smack about WWE, and rightly so. But if this is a flop, given the talent they have, I'd find it hard for it to be a flop. But there's also a lot of unknowns with this. When we do our review show next week, we're going to keep it real.
100%. Absolutely. I agree. I'm not even going to expand on it. Like you said, you're speaking for the 4 of us. That was perfect.
What about you, Saint? What if it's bad?
It's been something we've even said since day one. There is that slight concern of that happening. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think we're getting ourselves too worked up, and it's going to be just as good as everybody thinks it is. But I do think there's a big part of, the fan base that is going to pick apart every single little thing on this and dissect it and bash on it for whatever reason. Because I guess it's just part of this outrage culture that we have in the United States in these days. And I think that's more of a millennial issue and, the younger generation. I don't think a lot of older guys or older women really, get so upset about this stuff as much as some of these marks do. But, unfortunately, I still see, even if they have the littlest thing go wrong, there's going to be, people out there bitching about it and having outrage over it. Because that's just how things are these days, I guess.
Yep. It's true. Come on, say it one more. Ready? Sasha Banks, Bailey, and Tessa Blanchard. Marry, kill, bang. Sasha, Bailey, Tessa. Marry, kill, bang. Who you killing?
Probably Sasha. She's always
racist.
Okay. I knew it.
Okay. Which one are you gonna marry?
Who were the other two? Tessa, and who was the other one?
Bailey.
I think I'd marry Tessa, and then.
Oh, so you're just gonna bang Bailey, huh? But wait a minute, isn't Bailey kind of like bubbly and has that personality like Kylie?
He wants a hugger.
He wants a tugger.
You know. There's 3 things that I want for this show, and I want them for a very good friend of ours. I want Joey Ryan. I want a super kick party, and I want about 57 V triggers from Kenny Omega, and I want them all for you, Joe White.
I don't want any of that.
I'm just kidding.
All right, does anybody have anything else, or are we going to wrap up the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view show?
Well, I'll just say one real quick thing, and then we'll finish it up. Like, seriously, if you're on the fence with ordering this, I don't want to be a shill for them, but seriously, pay the money, watch it legitimately, don't pirate it, because right now, I think they really need a lot of support, and I think one of the best ways of supporting them would be to actually order the pay-per-view and watch it, because I think you're going to get but despite what everybody says, despite what people from Virginia are saying, you're going to get your money's worth from this show. It's a very stacked card, in my opinion. There is actual build for a bunch of these matches, some of them not so much. But at the same time, I think you're going to get a little bit of everything, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, at the end of the show. So go out there and buy it, and let us know what you think of it too, because I'd like to hear, comments from the fans of the AEW and our listeners to, hit us with some comments and let us know what they thought of the show. Probably on this video, or if we do a post show, do it on that video.
Makes a lot of sense. Hollywood, tell all the fans out there where they can find us.
Well, before I do that, I have one last question for the Electric City Saint.
Ooh.
If you're booking Asian Electric Wrestling and you're going to book one to F, marry, or kill, who would you choose?
Brother, dude, where are you going with this?
Su Yung, Gail Kim, or Asuka?
Ooh.
Because you're the Asian guy. I am interested to hear this.
Well, Gail Kim's already married, as you
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'll take him out for you.
What if none of them? What if they were all single, and in their prime?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one. I guess Asuka, I think I would marry. Gail Kim, probably kill, and then Su Yung would be the
my
option there, bud.
That's interesting.
That was a swerve to me. Like, I'm on board with the Asuka thing, but I think I'm killing Su Yung.
Oh, Su Yung would be wild, I bet.
Yeah, but bro, that whole thing with her and Swan when they had the big, dispute there and the cops were involved. I don't need that shit. I don't want my woman beating the shit out of me. I mean, come on.
I thought the Saint would marry Gail, to be honest. I'm disappointed, actually.
Oh, no way. Asuka? No. Come on, man.
She's a kabuki.
That's right.
Yes.
The kabuki. Why wouldn't you marry the kabuki?
That's right.
All of them could be kabuki. In Bobby's case, they could be kabuti.
Oh!
Pirate booty. Pirate
see what he did there, Bobby?
Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter at Soldiers of Shoot. I'm Hollywood Edwards. You can find me at Blading for Truth. The Saint over there, the Asian horny toad, can be found at Steamtown Stunna. AC Cool Down at AC Cool Down on Twitter. And DJ Stames, you are at DJ Stames.
Yeah.
General
now,
Stames.
Wait, is AC Cool Down on Twitter now, or does he have another?
AC Cool Down, baby. It's always been AC Cool Down.
No, but I mean, what is your name on Twitter? Because that's been changed. There was Iconic AC. And
yeah, just AC for now. We're gonna come up with a new gimmick one of these years.
Okay, all right.
I'm just waiting for Hollywood to name me again.
So everybody have a great night Saturday. Enjoy some great professional wrestling, and we'll be back here to talk about the show afterwards. So for Hollywood Edwards, for AC, for the Electric City Saint, I am General Stame saying so long, and we'll see you next time right here on Soldiers of Shoot.